Mike, usually during an All-Star break, I would assume, all the players get away, and I don't know what your job is at the time. I mean, do you get away and take a little vacay, or do you still work? And then obviously this year, the All-Star Game is in D.C. Do you have to stay around?
I do have to. I do stay around this year in D.C. We're the host team, so we'll have a lot of great events and activities going on, which I'll be the honor of being a part of. And usually, though, it's a good time. Obviously you're always working today with cell phones and all the technology. You could work anywhere, but it's usually a good 3 or 4 days to get away from away from town and kind of relax a little bit. But there's a lot of conversations during those down periods because it's kind of a relaxing spot for the GM. So we tend to talk a lot, but in a more relaxing kind of situation because there's no games going on and you're really focusing in on the beginning of the second half.
So, Mike, Juan Soto's been unbelievable, right? He's hitting over 300. He's shown power, went 3 for 4 yesterday. I'm just wondering, hypothetically, I guess, had Victor Robles been healthy, would you have called up Juan Soto when you did?
Oh, probably not, guys. But this, we went through about 4 left fielders before I made the call to Doug Harrison, our farm director, and said it was actually as poor Howie Hendrick was laying on the warning track. I called our farm director, said, "Get Soto moving this way," and he said, "What? Soto?" I said, "Yep, let's get him rolling this way. He's next up." And we thought all along that he was going to be a quick to the big league guy. Just because of his knowledge of the strike zone and the way he handled himself with his thing. But to answer your question, if Kendrick and Eaton and we probably wouldn't have seen Soto particular time, but he was a guy that we were not afraid to push and move. Obviously, with his developmental curve was quicker than the norm, and we had and still have high expectations for him, and he's met those expectations and more.
It's usually when a 19-year-old comes up, maybe he gets hot to start out because pitchers aren't, they don't know what he's all about, but eventually they figure him out. They have not figured out Soto out. I mean,
there's no figuring out. He's the real deal.
He is so good, and he's confident too.
He's very confident. He's got a kind of a humble swagger to him, if you will. But offensively, he's a very tough. I was an advanced scout for a lot of years, and my job is to kind of critique and nitpick how guys' approaches at the plate can be handled. And he's a tough guy to pitch. He handles the fastball very well in all 4 quadrants of it. He stays back. His bat barrel is in the strike zone for a long period of time. He's very, very balanced. And, those guys that command the strike zone and know the strike zone very well, oftentimes, their biggest advantage is they're 2-0 and 3-1 and 2-1 in most counts. And so it's because of their eye, it's easier to hit when you're ahead in the count than behind the count. He very rarely chases pitches off the plate. So, he's a very accomplished young hitter with still some things to learn, but he's playing extremely well, and again, high expectations for him. And hats off to our international scouting department and our player development department to get these guys ready for the big leagues quickly. And he hit the ground running, didn't he? And hasn't let up yet.
Joined by Mike Rizzo, President of Baseball Operations and GM of the Washington Nationals, who are now 46-45, 5.5 back in the NL East. Everybody knows that the starting rotation has struggled outside of Max of late. Of course, Strasburg still on the DL. You had to love Jeremy Hellickson's performance yesterday. Desperately needed, huh?
Desperately needed. The circles of our rotation, kind of have that ripple effect into your bullpen and that type of thing. So, hats off to Jeremy. He's pitched outstanding for us. Even since he's come back from the break, he had that one hiccup, but had 102 fever and probably shouldn't have been pitching, but wanted to gut it out and try and take the ball and help us, and it didn't work out for him. But he's been great for us, and we need another another stellar performance from Gio tonight, today, and it's time for the starting pitchers to step up and pitch like they're supposed to pitch. And that's the thing that these guys are accomplished pitchers. You know, Gio had a low 2 ERA in his first 7 or 8 starts this season, and kind of fell into some bad habits mechanically, and didn't give us the length and performance we wanted. Same thing with Tanner, and you know, we're relying on 2 young kids. So, you know, anytime you lose two of your 5 starters to injury, you know, you're really relying on your depth and you know, and your veteran players to perform up to their capabilities. And for the month of June, it didn't happen. The month of May, they were outstanding. We were 20-7 and cruising. And then when Hellingston, Strasburg, and Wieters all went down, and I think in that same week period, we started to struggle. And you know, it's our time to get out of that rut and to start playing better, cleaner baseball.